For the Buffalo Bills, it's been a long, long year. For the Miami Dolphins, it's been a very good year. The Dolphins are in first place in the AFC East and seem to get stronger with each game.
Rick Weaver, Lou Creekmer, and Henry Barrow back at a sun-drenched Orange Bowl in Miami. Charlie Lee back deep off to the far side of the field, and Mercury Morris down the near side. Lee is averaging 24.8 yards on kickoff returns, and Morris, who led the AFC in kickoff returns last year, is averaging 27.1 this year. We are waiting for the referee's whistle. Here it is. Leipold looks at the football, rocks once, comes forward, gets the toe into it. He drills it high, and it's deep back into the end zone. Charlie Lee grabs it and steps out of the end zone, downs it for the touchback. And so the Dolphins will start from our 20-yard line. Once again, setting Miami's offense for you. Earl Morrill, the quarterback, Jim Kick and Larry Zonka. The running backs, Twilley and Warfield, the wide receivers, Fleming, the tight end, Crusan and Evans, the tackles, Kuchenberg and Little, the guards, and Langer, the center. Defensively for Buffalo, Patulski, Croft, Patton, and Cowlings on the front line. Mike Stratton is starting at the left linebacker. Ken Lee in the middle. Dave Washington on the right side. Robert James and Tony Green are the cornerbacks, and Maurice Tyler and Wyatt are the safety men. Morrill on the snap. Hands off the kick. Threads his way over the right side and bounces out to about the 25-yard line. Jim Kick, Butch Cassidy of the duo of Cassidy and Sundance, carries for 5 yards. And Mercury Morris comes in to replace Kick in the Dolphins' offensive backfield. The tackle on that last play made by linebacker Paul Goodry, who's just come into the ball game. He and Stratton are playing at the linebackers. Goodry, along with Stratton and Lee, are the linebackers. Stratton playing on the right side, Goodry the left side, and Lee in the middle. Warfield splits to the left, Twilley to the near side. A second down and 5. Dolphins moving from our left to our right from their 25-yard line. Morrill on the snap, takes the handoff. Now hands off to Zonka, who booms his way for the first down through the middle. A nifty bit of deception there by Morrill on the handoff to Zonka, and he picks up the first down just across the 30-yard line. Walt Patulski, a 6'6", 252-pound first-year man from Notre Dame, makes the tackle on the play.
Great block on behalf of Kuchenberg on Don Croft on that play, Rick. This shows that rookie coming across too fast, and you get trapped.
And the Dolphins pick up the first down of the ball game. 1st and 10, Miami at their 30-yard line. Warfield splits to the far side. Twilley just a couple of yards off the near side. Kick is back in. He and Zonka, the running backs. Here's the handoff to Kick. Sweep to the left. Cuts back to his right, and he might have lost a yard. He did not get the corner turn as he made his cut. The defenders were there waiting for him. Mike Stratton, 11-year veteran, number 58, linebacker from Tennessee, makes the tackle, and they put it down back at the Dolphins' 29. A loss of a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 11. We have just started this football game. The Bills coming on. This club perhaps a couple of years away, but they have a young ball club. They've had a lot of problems with injuries in their offensive line, and Lou Saban trying to put it all together. They are 2-3, tied for 3rd this week in the AFC with New England going into this ball game. On the snap, here's the handoff. Zonka over the left side, gets a yard to the 30-yard line, and that's all. They were waiting for him. Patulski threw his 250 pounds in there, along with Al Cowlings, the other side defensive end. Cowlings played with O.J. Simpson at the University of Southern California on those great Trojan teams out there. The ball is just across the 30-yard line. We'll call it 3rd down and 10. Kick and Zonka are the running backs, and the Dolphins having a little bit of a problem getting their running game established here early in the contest. Morrill breaks the ball club out. He splits Warfield to the far side. Twilley comes to the near side. Marv Fleming, the tight end, sets strong side right. And Kick is a slot man to the left. Zonka, the only man in behind Morrill. 3rd down and 10. Dolphins from their 30-yard line. On the snap, Earl drops straight back to throw. He sets up, firing in the middle. Twilley's got it. Shakes a tackler. 50 to the far sideline. 40 down to the 35-yard line before he is knocked off his feet. Tony Green, the right cornerback, got him. They put the ball down at the 36-yard line in Bill's territory. Tony Green got him, but Twilley got inside. The other cornerback, James, and just took the ball away from him. James hit him, and he shook off the tackle at about the 50 and picked up 14 additional yards. Mercury Morris comes in.
And that's just going back to basic football, Rick, right over the middle, just a slant in on behalf of Twilley.
34 yards from Morrill to Twilley. Twilley is a wingman right. Dolphins first down at the Bills' 36-yard line. Morris and Zonka, the I formation backs. Here's the pitch to Merck. Sweep to the right. He's at the 35, 30, and knocked down and out of bounds on the near side at the 28-yard line. Larry Little, the Dolphins all-pro right guard, through the block to swing and loose. Linebacker Paul Goodry makes the tackle on the play. They mark it down at the Bills' 28-yard line. It'll be a gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2. And now Washington, the big guy at 6'5", 228. Dave Washington, number 86, comes in at linebacker. Lee in the middle. Goodry and Washington are the linebackers. kick comes in. Morris is out. Oakland is out in front of Cincinnati 1-0. At the end of the half-inning mark, the A's scored a run, and they're half of the first inning. Warfield splits far to the left side. Here's the handoff. Zonka, big hole in the middle, 25, 20, down to the 19-yard line. Bulls Larry Zonka. Maurice Tyler, the rookie safety man, the strong safety, makes the tackle on the play, and they'll put it down at the 20-yard line. That's another Dolphin first down.
Rick, this is just exactly what happens when you have young rookie tackles in there. They just get over anxious, they penetrate too deep, and you can run right by them and make some good yards.
On the left side, the rookie tackle is Don Croft, who the Bills picked up from the Colts. The right side tackle, Jerry Patton, played his college ball at Nebraska, and they picked him up from the Vikings. On the snap, handoff to Zonka, bounces inside of the left tackle, gets a couple of yards down to the 18-yard line. Don Croft and Jerry Patton, those two rookie defensive tackles who we were just talking about, in on the stop, along with defensive end Al Cowlings. A gain of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Dolphins ball at the Bills' 18-yard line. 10 minutes to go in this first quarter. The Dolphins took the opening kickoff in their end zone, elected not to run it back. This drive started back at their 20-yard line. The big play has been that 34-yard pass reception from Morrill to Howard Twilley. Twilley splits near side, Warfield far side. Kick and Zonka, the split backs in behind Morrill. Here's a handoff to Kick, cuts in over right tackle, gets to the 15 to the 14-yard line. Jim Kick, Maurice Tyler, the rookie strong safety from Morgan State, makes the tackle. A gain of 4 on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 4 for a Dolphin first down. And Mercury Morris comes in as Shula is interchanging his running backs, and Kick is out. We'll keep you posted on scores of other games, plus the World Series. A big one at Washington today, the Cowboys against the Redskins. And another big one as far as the AFC East is concerned with the Colts, with a new coach and plenty of fire, playing the Jets at New York. Warfield splits to the far side. Morris sets as the wingman to the near side. 3rd down and 4. Now Morris is motioned further out to the near side of the field by Morrill. Morrill drops to throw. He fires. It is caught at the 7 to the 6-yard line by Howard Twilley. Twilley, who has been the principal receiver from Morrill's passes today, picks up a first down as they will mark the ball at the Bills' 6-yard line. The tackle by Goodley, the linebacker, along with cornerback Robert James.
Earlier in the week, Earl talked about he liked to go with the plays that he has confidence in. And I'll tell you, when you talk about throwing to Howard Twilley, you've got to have confidence in his catching the ball.
Jim Mandich, Marv Fleming, the 2 tight ends are in on the power blocking unit. Twilley is out. The Dolphins have a 1st and goal at the Bills' 6-yard line. Warfield out of the huddle, spreads to the far side of the field. Kick and Zonka, the split backs, in behind Earl Morrow. 1st and goal from the 6. Handoff goes to Kick behind Little. He is dragged down at the 5-yard line. Larry got through the hole, knocked his man down, but the hole closed. Al Cowlings, the right end, and right linebacker Dave Washington make the tackle on the play. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 5 as Mercury Morris comes back into the ball game. Merck on the season has scored a touchdown, has a rushing average of 5.0. Kick on the season has scored 3 touchdowns and is rushing at an average of 3.4. 2nd down and goal. Dolphins at the Bills' 5-yard line. The power blocking 2 tight ends, Mandich and Fleming, are both in there. From the Bills' 5, Morrill barks the signals. Here is the handoff to Morris around the right side. He's at the 4, down to the 3. Touchdown, Dolphins. And here come the handkerchiefs. The tradition established by yours truly last year during the Colts game, whenever the Dolphins score, the white handkerchiefs are taken out and waved. A great block thrown by Larry Little to allow Morris to get in. Mercury gets his 2nd TD from 5 yards out, and Garo Yepremian is in to try the point from placement. He has 13 out of 14. In the extra point department, Earl Morrow will hold. Here's the snap, a little bit high, gets it up there, and it is perfect. With 7:32 left to play in the first quarter. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score. Our Dolphins 7, the Bills nothing. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Yepremian preparing to kick off to Alvin Wyatt, number 41 off to the right, and Lindsey Cole, number 26 on the near side. An 80-yard drive, 12 plays. Morris scoring from 5 yards out. Garrow's kick against the wind is grabbed by Cole at the goal line. Out to the 5, the 10 to the 20, the 25, and is knocked down at the 29-yard line by the Dolphins specialty team performers. Mike Powell, who just joined the ball club from the Cleveland Browns, makes the tackle. And we'll be announcing on our Rolling Home show for our WIOD listeners in Miami the winner of our Rick Weaver WIOD Specialty Teams Award. So be sure and tune in for that on the Rolling Home Show following our play-by-play. A 29-yard return that time by Lindsey Cole. Dennis Shaw is the quarterback. The running backs are O.J. Simpson and Jim Braxton. They are set in an I. Here's the handoff to O.J. Cuts outside of the right and gets about 3. Out to the 32-yard line. Vern Denherter makes the stop. Offensively for the Bills, J.D. Hill and Bob Chandler are the wide receivers. The tight end is Jan White. O.J. Simpson and Jim Braxton are the running backs. Dennis Shaw is the quarterback. The tackles are Donnie Green and Dave Foley. The guards are Dick Hart and Reggie McKenzie, and the center is John Matlock. A 2nd and 7. Bills ball at their 32-yard line. And they split Hill and Chandler both to the near side. Here's the handoff to Braxton, the fullback. Pounds the right side, and he is cracked. He is uprighted at the 33, maybe to the 34-yard line, a gain of only 2. Manny Fernandez makes the tackle.
Rick, it looks like that game-time adrenaline just went into the systems of both Dunaway and Fernandez. They're both in there, and it looks like they're real healthy, ready to play the ball game.
Let's go down to Henry Barrow.
Something I guess we'll be seeing all the time now. Earl Morrill and Bob Greasy conferring on the sideline. Jim Delgazo also in the conference.
3rd down and 5. Bills from their 34. Shaw back to throw his first pass. He sets. Ball is deflected by a pass rusher and drops harmlessly to the ground for an incompletion. The Dolphin pass rush, somebody got a hand on it, and the ball never did get to the intended receiver, Jim Braxton. And so the Dolphins defense holds, and coming in to punt for the first time is Spike Jones, who went to school at the University of Georgia. He is averaging 41.2 yards per kick. Charlie Lee is the deep man back for the Dolphins. He has a 9.8 punt return average, and Dick Anderson is the short man. Line of scrimmage, the 34. In Bill's territory, Jones is standing at the 20. Here is the snap. He gets the kick out of there. A short kick off the side of his foot to the far side. It will go out of bounds. On the far side of the field, looks like they're going to mark it at the Dolphins' 45-yard line, which would make it about 21 yards. So the Dolphins come up with excellent field position, and they're going to mark it at the Dolphins' 45. As Jones got that one with the wind to his back, the strong breeze, the wind to his back got it off the side of his foot. There's a timeout on the field. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with the score, our Dolphins 7, the Bills nothing. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl following Jones's 21-yard punt. The Dolphins have excellent field position. First down at the Dolphin 45-yard line. Morrill, a long count at the line of scrimmage, hands off to kick, threads his way through the middle and gets out to about the 49 before he's knocked off his feet by left tackle Don Croft. At the end of 1 inning of play, the Oakland A's lead the Cincinnati Reds in that 7th game of the World Series 1-0. Gain of about 4. For kick, it'll be 2nd down and 6. The running backs are Kick and Zonka. The wide receivers, Twilley and Warfield. Morrill is the quarterback, Fleming the tight end. He lines up strong side left this time. 2nd down and 6. Dolphins leading 7-0, moving from our left to our right. We're in the first quarter. Morrill drops the throw. Has time, fires. Warfield's got it. Knocked down immediately at the 35-yard line. On a slant in over the middle. Knocked down at the Bills' 36 is where they're going to put it down. As Morrill connects with a 15-yard pass to Paul Warfield. First down for the Dolphins. Tackle made by right cornerback Tony Green.
Rick, that defensive line of Buffalo is trying to mess up that offensive line of Miami, but that Miami team been playing together, the offensive line long enough that it doesn't bother them one iota.
Morrill has been perfect in the forward passing department so far. Washington comes back into the linebacker, waiting for the snap. First down, Dolphins ball at the Bills' 36-yard line. Here is the handoff. Kick, sweep to the right, flag down. He gets the corner turned down to the 30, inside the 30 to the 28, but there's a flag on the far side of the field. Tackle made by strong safety Maurice Tyler, the rookie from Morgan State, along with left cornerback Robert James. Kick getting pretty good yardage that time. The penalty, offsides against Buffalo, is the initial indication from referee Ben Bright. And the Dolphins' offensive captain, Larry Little, discussing the options. The penalty will be declined. The Dolphins will take the football and the down and the gain at the Bills' 28-yard line. After the 8-yard pickup by Kick, it'll be a 2nd down and 2. The ball at the Bills' 28. We have 4 minutes, 33 seconds left to play in the first period. Dolphins lead 7-0. The first drive, 80 yards, 12 plays. Morris scoring from 5 yards out. After a short punt of 21 yards by Spike Jones of the Bills, the Dolphins started this drive from their 45. Twilley splits to the far side. Warfield slot man left. Kick and Zonka split backs in behind Morrill. 2nd and 2. Hand off Zonka. Big hole. 25, 20, 15. Runs over a tackler to the 10. He's down to the 7-yard line. The tackler that he ran over, Alvin Wyatt, grabbed onto his ankle and held on for dear life, or Zonka would have rumbled for a touchdown.
Rick, you could really see going through Earl's mind what he was going to call on this play, because the Buffalo Bills pretty much had 10 men right up there on the line covering some receiver or right up there trying to cover a run. All Zonka had to do was get through that line. He had one man to stop him.
Zonka rambles for 20 yards, a first down and goal at the 8-yard line is where they put it down. Fleming and Mandich, the two tight ends, are up front now in the power blocking unit as Twilly comes out. Warfield sets as a wingman right. Kick and Zonka, the split backs in behind Morrow. Hand off to Zonk. Pounds over the left side, gets to the 5, inside the 5 to about the 4-yard line. Goes Larry Zonka, and his running has been awesome thus far in this first quarter. He is just running over people, carrying them with him, and giving them a free transportation. Al Cowlings, the defensive right end, right linebacker Dave Washington, two big guys. The fellows that get credit for the tackle. Washington is out, and Stratton is in on the goal line type defense employed with the Bills. The ball is at, we'll call it the 4, a second down and goal for the Dolphins from the Bills' 4-yard line. 3:18 to play in the first quarter. Dolphins lead 7-0. The two tight ends remain in. Warfield sets as a wingman left this time. Kick and Zonka, the split backs behind Morrow. From the Bills' 4-yard line. On the snap, handoff to Kick through the left side. Gets down to about the 1-yard line before he is stacked up. Possibly they're going to say that his forward progress was halted at the 2. We'll wait until the on pile as he is smothered by white jerseys. Jerry Patton, the rookie right side defensive tackle, and right quarterback Tony Green makes the stop. They put it down at the 2-yard line. So give them a gain of 2. It'll be 3rd and goal for the Dolphins from the Bills' 2-yard line. Kick and Zonka remain the running backs. Mandich and Fleming, the two tight ends. For our fans in Miami listening on WIOD, reserve quarterback Jim Delgado will be our guest on Rick Weaver Talk Sports, 8 o'clock Monday night. The Dolphins' new backup quarterback, and a very intelligent young man. The Dolphins set in the eye this time. 3rd and goal from the 2. Somebody jumps from the Bills. Here's the handoff to Kick through the right side. No indication as to whether he scored or not. There are flags down all over the place, and a penalty will be against Buffalo for jumping too soon on that defensive line. Kick did not get into the end zone. Half the distance. Will set the ball down at about the 1-foot line, and the Dolphins, of course, will have the down over again. It'll be 3rd down, and about a foot to go for a TD. They pick the ball up and replace it again. Just inside the 1-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and less than a yard to go for a Dolphin touchdown. Defensive offsides against Buffalo is the call. 2 minutes, 21 seconds to go in this first quarter. Dolphins lead 7-0. Knocking on the door once again is Earl Morrow, who has looked magnificent so far this afternoon. Dolphins break out of the huddle in that tight blocking formation. Warfield, wingman right, Kick and Zonka, split backs behind Morrow. A handoff to Kick. He tries to pound inside behind Zonka. And did he make it or not? No indication from the officials as yet. The officials call a timeout. And there's a big pile-up down there at the goal line. Kick was going over the right side, and he missed it by just inches. So it'll be 4th down and just inches to go for a Dolphin score. Dolphins leading 7-0 here. The ball is just outside the goal line. 4th down and inches. Let's see if they give the ball to Zonka. 2 minutes and 5 seconds to go in this first quarter. Dolphins leading 7-0. This drive started back at their 45-yard line. Buffalo setting up a fine goal line defense. They set that power blocking unit. Kick and Zonka, the split backs, and behind Morrow. 4th down and inches for a score. Morrow on the snap, hands to Kick, vaults over the top, and he did not make it. He did not make it. He has stopped short of the goal line, and Buffalo's great goal line stand shuts them out. The handoff was to Kick. He tried to vault over the left side, and he was halted by Maurice Tyler, the rookie strong safety, and linebacker Mike Stratton.
Rick, this is just one of the things that Miami's really got to be careful of and fearful of. If you can get this Buffalo Bills team so charged up, and they probably are right now at this goal line stand, it's terrible.
Dolphin football action continues as there's a timeout on the field from the Orange Bowl with a score of the Dolphins 7, Buffalo nothing. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Buffalo's got two tight ends in, Bob Christensen and Jan White. The ball is just across the goal line as their goal line defense stopped the Dolphins from scoring. Here is the quarterback, Shaw, trying to sneak out over the right side. He didn't get very far. Just a fine effort by the Bills goal line defense. And our spotter, Al Book, who had the glasses on Kick's second effort on the 3rd down play, said that he was in on second effort. But apparently the officials had blown the play dead. Manny Fernandez made the tackle, put the ball out at the 2-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and about 9. We'll call it 8. 2nd down and 8. for the Bills from there, too. Here is Shaw once again, sneaking out, trying to get some operating position for the punter. Time becomes a factor here, too. If they have to punt against the punt with the wind, they have only 1 minute and 5 seconds to do it. Manny Fernandez, Dunaway, Nick Bonaconte, the middle linebacker, make the tackle. The Dolphins defense, Denherter, Fernandez, Dunaway, Stanfield on the front line, Swift, Bonaconte, and Cole on the linebackers, Foley and Johnson the cornerbacks, Scott and Anderson the safeties. Ball is out at the Buffalo 4. It'll be a third down, and we'll call it about 6. Braxton and O.J. are the running backs. Here's the handoff to O.J. trying to get outside to the right. Gets the corner turn, belted out of bounds at the 10. He did not pick up enough yardage for the first down. Let's see where they're going to put the ball down. At least it would appear not to be that case from our vantage point. Tackle made by left corner Tim Foley. And Simpson came up slow off the tackle, or Foley did, rather. Foley came up slow following the tackle. And they did not make enough yardage for the first down. They put it down at the 10. He needed to get about a foot or two beyond the 10-yard line. So they'll have to give up the football. And so the Dolphins send in the punt receiving unit as coming out. The defensive unit, Foley, stays in the ball game. Charlie Lee will go back as the deep man. Dick Anderson, the shallow man. Spike Jones, the last time with the wind to his back, got off a 21-yard kick, stands about 4 or 5 yards deep in the end zone. The line of scrimmage, the Buffalo 10. He has the wind to his back with 37 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Here is the snap. He gets the punt out. The Dolphins put on a good rush. Low trajectory. Long kick. He got a beauty. Charlie Lee backs up to 31. Grabs it. Runs laterally to the near side. Looks for the hole. Shakes off a tackler. Still going. He is going to be dragged down back at the 28. He ran about 30 yards, all laterally from the far side to the near side of the field, and actually lost about 3 yards. That was a tremendous punt out of there of some 67 yards by Spike Jones. He really boomed it out. Dale Farley made the tackle on the Bills specialty team. So the Dolphins, who were denied a touchdown just a moment ago by a great goal line stand by the Bills, have the ball in play back at our 28-yard line with just 10 seconds to go in this first quarter. Dolphins lead 7-0. Warfield out of the huddle, splits left, and to the near side is Twilley. Kick and Zonka are the splitbacks in behind Morrow. There is the gun. They did not get the play off. That's the end of the first quarter. Dolphin action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score. Our Dolphins 7, Buffalo nothing. Let's revise that last punt distance off the toe of Spike Jones to 62 yards. Dolphins starting the second quarter from our right to our left, moving toward the west end zone. First and 10 from the 28. Here's a handoff, kick, hole in the middle. Fumbles the ball, picked up by Buffalo. 35 to the 30. Alvin Wyatt, the weak safety, and he is wrestled to the ground at the Dolphins 27. Kick was the man who was the ball carrier. And Larry Little made the tackle on Wyatt. The ball squirted loose as Jim was tackled. He had a hole over the left side. Looked like he might have some running room. The ball was jarred loose. Wyatt, the free safety, picked it up, and Larry Little, along with Doug Prusan, made the tackle. So the Bills get a break and have the ball at the Dolphins' 27-yard line. The end of 2 in the World Series. Oakland leads Cincinnati 2-0. All right, the Bills, let's see if they can take advantage of it. That great goal line stand, the moment they shut the Dolphins out. J.D. Hill splits to the far side. Chandler slot left. High formation backs are Braxton and O.J. Simpson. The pitch goes to O.J. Sweep to the left, cuts back to his right, falls down, gets up, and is contained at the 27. Vern Denherter, the Dolphins defensive end, along with tackle Manny Fernandez, make the stop on the play. O.J. cutting back to his right as the sweep was in motion to the far side. Slipped and fell and could find no hole, no running room. They'll put the ball down at the 27-yard line. So it's a gain of just about a yard. It'll be second down and 9 for the Bills at the Dolphins 27. We've just started the second period. Bills recovering a Jim kick fumble. Dolphins lead 7-0. Hill and Chandler split to the left. Here is Shaw. The handoff to Simpson comes to the near side. Turns the corner. 25. Flag down. He is belted out of bounds at the Dolphins 16-yard line by Jim Foley. But there is a flag down back at the 25, and conceivably it could be clipping against Buffalo. We'll wait for the official's call. It's going to be holding, not clipping, against Buffalo. Trying to spring Simpson loose, and they did, but an illegal hold was detected on the blocking to get him around the corner. And it's on Donnie Green, the right tackle, who's a second-year man, a big guy, 6'8", 275, who played his college ball at Purdue. So the Bills are assessed 15 yards, and they lost a good run by Simpson. Puts the ball back at the Dolphins' 41.
You can tell exactly who was called on, Rick, with Donnie Green. He's really giving everybody a story down on the field that he didn't do it.
All right, the Dolphins insert now Bob Matheson on the prevent defense, and Dunaway comes out. This is one of the variations of the 53. And he will either play at a linebacker or a defensive end and try to keep Shaw, the quarterback, guessing as to whether he is coming or dropping off. A second down and 24. The ball back at the Dolphins 41. Fake on the pass. Here's the handoff to Simpson on the delay. He goes over the left side and gets about a yard before Bob Matheson, playing at a linebacker spot that time, make the tackle on the play. Bill Stanfill also in at a defensive end on the stop. Now the Dolphins insert the extra defensive back. Lloyd Mumford comes in, replacing middle linebacker Nick Bonacani. A gain of a yard. It'll be third down and 23. Bills at the Dolphins 40.
That was a good example of how effective that 53 defense can be when Bob out there confuses the man whether he's coming or going to stay.
Chandler splits far side, Hill to the near side. Shaw has Braxton and Simpson. He drops to throw. Has time. Swings a screen. Braxton back at the 40. Here's the handoff to O.J. Simpson, and he's thrown for a loss back at the 22-yard line by Manny Fernandez. Shaw refuses to start the play, and he goes back for a rehuddle. As the fans set up the boos, I would urge you fans listening on transistors to get your... Here comes the official over to the Dolphin bench, and this could cost him. So calm down. Let's get going with this ball game. The Dolphins don't need another penalty here because of the crowd. And now Don Shula is raising his hands. Let's cool it if you're listening on the transistors. And tell people around you to cool it so we can get the ball game back into action. Now the official is walking down the near sideline and is talking with one of the television people down there. Shula runs down to see what it's all about. This game has been held up here for several moments because of the booing. Henry?
The official is looking for a microphone. I think he's going to explain to the fans, if he can find one, that the Dolphins will be penalized if the fans don't stop the booing.
All right, we can let the fans know through the transistors that if it happens again, the Dolphins are going to be penalized. So let's cut down on the booing, please. We know how you feel, and we may feel the same way, but let them play. All right, the fans change the defense. Here is Hill, split to the left. Chandler, slot man left. Braxton and Simpson, the splitbacks behind Shaw. And now Shaw claims he can't hear again. And now the Dolphins are setting up a howl that Shaw is just decoying and faking. And now the referee runs over to the Bills bench. I think he probably could have heard that time because the shouting wasn't that loud, at least up here.
But you got to give Shaw credit, Rick. He's trying to get himself an extra 5 yards the easy way, and he figures he'll take advantage of all the booing. So I'd advise all the fans, please be quiet. It's not going to change a thing, all the booing.
Henry?
As you might have mentioned, the official went over to talk to Lou Saban, and now Lou Saban has called his quarterback, Dennis Shaw, over to talk to him. The noise on that the last time they set up, was no louder than it is many times when the fans are cheering. And I think the official realized that too and was a little bit upset with Dennis Shaw on that particular play. I know the Dolphin defense was, but the entire Dolphin team is a little bit upset. They wish the fans would cut out the booing so that this game could continue.
Well, the board has, since we came back from the 2-minute warning, has been set up there. And we've had 5 consecutive going back into the huddle situation. And now Shaw is being fit with a hearing aid so that he can hear what's going on, and then comes back onto the field, and officials timeout. The ball is at the Dolphins' 22-yard line. Second down and 11. And the Bills lead by a score of 10-7. Henry?
You have to wonder what the Bills would think if the stands were totally quiet on a play.
All right, out of the huddle they come. They split Chandler off to the far side, Hill to the near side. Braxton and Simpson, the running back. Shaw drops the throw. Big rush. He's thrown for a big loss. Way back to the 40. The ball is loose. Who's going to get it? Doug Swift has it. He loses it. Goes out of bounds. But I believe they have blown the play dead. Back at about the 37-yard line. The Dolphin defense just poured through that time on Shaw. And Manny Fernandez was the man who got him back to the 37 as well. They're going to blow it dead. Shaw fumbled the ball, went out of bounds. Doug Swift picked it up, but he lost control of it on the far side. But previous to that, the official had blown the play dead. A loss of 15 yards as Fernandez throws Shaw for a big loss back to the Dolphins' 37. A minute and 49 seconds to go before the end of the first half. This has been a wild one. Bills 10, Dolphins 7. It's third down and 26. They have to get the ball down to the Dolphins' 11 for a first down. J.D. Hill splits to the far side. Chandler to the near side. Here's Shaw back to throw. Gets a rush. Here's the pass. It is caught inside the 30 by Hill. He is tackled and dropped at the 29. The 28-yard line. Donnie Green, the right tackle, goes flying through the air, attempting to throw a block into the Dolphins after the whistle had blown. It's a good thing for him he hadn't made any contact. They didn't pick up enough yardage for the first down, and so Leipold, the field goal kicker, comes in. The ball is at the Dolphins' 28-yard line. Green went sailing through the air trying to block somebody, and that's what the latest howl was. Now they put the ball at the 27. Leipold, who has a 35-yard field goal, will try this one from the 34-yard line. Bob Chandler will hold. It's against the wind. Waiting for the snap with 51 seconds to go in the half. Here it is. Dolphins have the kick block on. He gets it up there, and he gets it just through the uprights for the field goal. 34 yards for John Leipold, and with 44 seconds to play before the end of the half, the Bills move out to a 6-point lead, 13-7. Boy, it took them a long time to get the 3 points up on the board, and the Dolphin defense was obviously aroused because of the somewhat conjectural call by the officials on that pass from Morrill intended for Morris, which the officials rule was a backward pass in the backfield and a fumble, and the Bills were allowed to recover, but they get 3 points out of it. Then all the booing. So with 44 seconds to go before the end of the half, the Bills lead by a score of 13-7. That was a, what is this, Fred, 21-yard drive in 4 plays. Leipold kicks a 34-yard field goal. All right, Leipold getting ready to kick off. Morris and Lee are deep for the Dolphins. 13-7. Bills have shut the Dolphins out since the opening drive. Stopped them at the goal line. And another drive. Here's the kick. He gets it high. There will be a run back. Grabbed by Morris at the 1-yard line. Falls down, gets up to the 5, and he falls down again at the 10. And he is cracked and dropped at the 10-yard line. Mercury just couldn't get any traction that time. He slipped at the 1, went down at the 5, got up, and was hit at the 10-yard line. John Pitts on the Bills specialty team. Buffalo has got to really be fired up now. A 13-7 lead over the previously unbeaten Dolphins. Clock is moving with 35 seconds left to go before the end of the half. 30 seconds. Dolphins only score an 80-yard drive following the opening kickoff. 12 plays. Morris carrying in from 5 yards out. All right, Twilley splits right, and Warfield to the near side. Kick and Zonka, the split backs. Here's a handoff to Larry. Puts his head down over the left side. Carries out to the 15-yard line. Don Croft, defensive tackle, makes the stop on the play. 9 seconds, 8 seconds. They will probably not get another one off before the end of the half. Nobody bothering. Call timeout. Both teams heading for the locker rooms as the time runs out in a wild first half. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Buffalo Bills 13, our Miami Dolphins 7. The defense shut off the Buffalo offense almost completely with only 1 first down in that first half. Just 15 offensive plays, 7 net yards passing, and 23 rushing yardage. And the Dolphins' unblemished record in jeopardy, at least at this stage. Here's the kick. He squibs it high. Deep down the far side. Cole grabs it a yard deep. Out to the 5, the 10, into the middle, across the 15, and he's smacked at the 20-yard line. A fine play by Charlie Babb on the Dolphins specialty squad as he makes the tackle, and he just about scissors him in half. 21-yard return by Lindsey Cole. So the Bills will start moving from our left to our right toward the east end zone from their 20-yard line. Braxton and O.J. Simpson will be the running back. Simpson in the first half held at 22 yards on the ground. Braxton just 6 yards. J.D. Hill, Bob Chandler, the wide receivers are split left. Dennis Shaw, the quarterback. Hands off to O.J. Stumbles as he comes across the right side on a slant play and gets about a yard to the 21, and that's all. He was hit hard by left cornerback Tim Foley. Yard gain on the play for Simpson. It'll be 2nd down and 9. The Dolphins defense has done its part, has given up 13 points. Nobody has scored over 17 on the Dolphins thus far on the season, but the offense has had its problems. All right, Hill splits to the left side. Chandler sets as a slot man left. Braxton and Simpson, the split backs behind Shaw. 2nd and 9, Buffalo. And they're 21. He spins, tries to get the handoff away. Hernandez comes in and almost steals the ball. He does! He stole the ball. The Dolphins have it at the Bills' 10-yard line. That's it. Get those white handkerchiefs out. Let's applaud the defense. Fernandez coming out of a sick bed has played like a whirling dervish this afternoon, the Tasmanian Devil. Shaw had spun behind the line of scrimmage trying to get a handoff to Braxton, and Fernandez was in so quickly on him that time that he just took the ball, and he was the man who received the handoff. It's recorded as a recovered fumble as Fernandez stole the ball away from Dennis Shaw. So the Dolphins have the ball at the Bills' 10-yard line. Manny has been in the hospital all week with a severe chest cold. which was diagnosed last Sunday night when he went in as bordering on pneumonia. But he has played like a Tasmanian devil out here this afternoon. He has been all over Shaw. The Dolphins offense has the ball just outside the Bills' 10-yard line. Kick and Zonka, the split-backs. Behind Morrill, a handoff goes to Larry. Turns the left end. 5, 4, touchdown, Dolphins. They didn't waste any time. Zonka just took the handoff. Paul Warfield shot 2 Bills down with a great block as Zonka comes to the near side and rambles untouched in the end zone 10 yards for his 3rd TD, and Miami fights back. On a great play by Fernandez, Yepremian tries the point. Snap is high. Morrill shuts it down. He gets it up, and it is called good. 13 minutes and 6 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl. With the score, our Dolphins 14 and Buffalo 13. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Yepremian preparing to kick off. Lindsey Cole deep to the far side, down the near side, J.D. Hill. Here is the whistle. Garrow with the wind behind him almost kicks it up into the grandstand. It's way out of the end zone. No run back. So the Bills will start from their 20-yard line. Top of the 6th inning, Oakland leads Cincinnati in that 7th game of the World Series 2-1. What a great play that was by Fernandez. And you can't tell me that this guy, even for his size at 6'2", 250, and he plays a lot less under that. And coming off a sickbed all week, he was in Mercy Hospital. He's not one of the all-time greats in this game of NFL football. He is so quick and so strong and so determined. Chandler sets as a slot man left. Hill is a wide receiver left. Braxton and Simpson, the I-backs, pitch to Simpson. Sweeps to the left. He is caught and dribbled out of bounds on the 21-yard line at the far side of the field after a gain of only a yard. Right cornerback Curtis Johnson in this Dolphin defense.
And really, no question that Fernandez's play. Keep
that last touchdown. It took him one play to get in. Zonka swept the left side. Great block by Warfield, and the Dolphins are back on top, 14-13. A gain of a yard, 2nd down and 9. Bills ball at their 21.
So Zonka went over on that play, Rick. We probably ought to show it as Fernandez making the score and using something like an 80-yard run.
Here's another score in the World Series. Top of the 6th, the A's lead Cincinnati 3-1. J.D. Hill splits left. Chandler, slot man left. I formation backs. Shaw has thrown the ball only 4 times, 2 completions for 7 yards. 2nd and 9. Here's the handoff. O.J. out to the left side, gets the corner turn, cuts back to his right. He is gang tackle at the 25-yard line. Curtis Johnson from the right corner was the first man to make impact. Bill Stanfield, the Dolphins' right side defensive end and middle linebacker, defensive captain Nick Bonaconte, also in on the stop. It'll be a 3rd down and 5. Here comes Bob Matheson in on the Dolphins' defense. He'll either play a defensive end or a linebacker. Airtime from Baltimore next week. Will be at 3:50 on WIOD and these Dolphin Network stations. Dunaway is out. Matheson is in on the Dolphins defense. 3rd down and 5. Bills ball from their 25. You can feel the excitement in this crowd now. After Fernandez's great play, here is Shaw dropping the throw for the 5th time. He's being rushed. Now steps up, fires. It is caught by Hill. He is knocked down at the 33, and that's a 1st down. J.D. Hill, a little hook pattern. He caught the ball out at the far inbound hash mark and came in toward the middle, tackled by Bonaconte. The Dolphins had a good rush, but Shaw, showing poise, stepped back into the pocket, up into the pocket, and completed the pass. 1st down. That's only the 2nd 1st down of the ball game for Buffalo at their 33-yard line. 11 minutes, 48 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Dolphins lead 14-13. This has been a dandy. Hill splits to the far side. Chandler slot. Here's the pitch going to Simpson. He's caught behind the line of scrimmage, breaks the tackle. 35 across the 40 and out to about the 43. Fumbles the ball, but the whistle had been blown. Jake Scott came up with it for the Dolphins, but the whistle had blown. Curtis Johnson and Doug Swift make the tackle on the play, and they mark it just inside the Buffalo 43-yard line. Dunaway comes back in now on the Dolphins defense.
He has a gain of 9 yards.
There's a 9-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd down and 1, actually less than a yard. And they bring in Bob Christensen there, number 2 tight end. Christensen is a rookie from UCLA. And J.D. Hill goes out. The ball is at the 42-yard line in Bill's territory. 2nd down, less than a yard for a 1st down. Shaw sets his ball club in a wing formation. On the snap, hands off to Simpson through the middle. He got the 1st down and is smothered at the 46. Gain of 4, 1st down Buffalo. Tackled by Mike Cullen, the Dolphins' weak side linebacker. Manny Fernandez also in on the stop, and middle linebacker Nick Bonaconte. Shaw has his ball club moving now, and here comes J.D. Hill back in as Christensen, the tight end, goes out. Dolphins lead 14-13. The defense shut off the Buffalo offense almost completely with only 1 1st down in that first half. Just 15 offensive plays, 7 net yards passing, and 23 rushing yardage. Waiting for the snap now. 1st and 10 from the 46. Handoff to running back Wayne Patrick, who has just come in the ball game. He's a 245-pounder from Louisville. And he gets out to about the 50 before he's tackled by Jim Dunaway. Halftime, St. Louis leads the New York Giants 21-7. And the other score, the Jets lead Baltimore 17-10 at the half. Ball just across the 50 in Dolphins territory. 2nd down and 6 for the Bills. Hill splits left. Chandler slap man left. We've got Patrick and Simpson as the split backs. Hand off to the big fullback. He has hit at the line of scrimmage and gets about a yard, and that's all. Manny Fernandez really rocked him. Now, Patrick is a guy that has torn the Dolphins up in the past. He's a great runner, has good speed for his size. 6'1", 246, a 5-year man from Louisville. Manny Fernandez really equalized things that time with a jarring tackle. Gain of a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 4. The ball at the Dolphins' 48.5-yard line. Dunaway is out. Matheson in on defense. Hill splits left. Chandler slot left. Simpson and Patrick the split backs behind Dennis Shaw. Here comes Chandler in motion. Off to the near side. Shaw drops back to throw for the 6th time. Big rush, big rush. They jump up in the air. He throws the ball for a tackle. The only man near it was Donnie Green, the right tackle, and flags go down all over the place. And this is going to cost them. From the right side, the Dolphins had a 3-man rush, and they came in with the hands up and forced Shaw out of the pocket to the right. And he just threw the ball to get rid of it. And Donnie Green, the right tackle, who is not an eligible receiver, was the only man near it. They did not get him, but they had the hands up and forced him into a big error. Chandler was the intended receiver, our spotter Al Book says, but he was nowhere near the football where it landed and where it was thrown. Now Don Shula is conferring down along the sidelines with referee Ben Wright. These officials have been under a great deal of comment this afternoon. Now they call it illegal touching. That's what I thought it was. The PA announcer comes up with pass interference, and that's the call that the official gave to us. But it is ruled as an illegal touching call, which is also a loss of down and forces a punting situation. The signal not clear. Charlie Lee back deep. Here's Jones punting against the wind. It's blocked! Falls loose at the 25 and is going to go out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Curtis Johnson blocked it. Curtis Johnson blocked the punt. There was nothing wrong with the snap. Johnson just came booming through there and blocked it. The Dolphins take over as the ball rolled out of bounds at the Buffalo 26-yard line. There is a timeout on the field. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score. Our Dolphins 14, Buffalo 13. Rick Weaver, Luke Rickmer, and Henry Barrow back at the Orange Bowl. This Dolphin defense has been just great. Curtis Johnson just blocked his Spike Jones punt and rolled out of bounds. A 4th down play at the 26 from Bill's territory, so that's where the Dolphins will put it in play. Kick-Nzaka, the I formation backs behind Earl Morrow. Waiting for the snap. Long count at the line of scrimmage from Earl. Here's the snap. The pitch goes to Kick. Sweep to the right behind Little. He takes his man. Kick cuts back to the 20. Down to the 15. Down to the 13-yard line goes Jim Kick. Very Little. Drive blocking out in front. Just rode his man right out of the picture. Tony Green, the cornerback, made the tackle on the play.
That Larry Little just got to be considered an all-pro offensive guard. Boy, the way he gets out there and just takes care of all of those people in front of him so that there's no question about it. You have room to run.
First down as Kick rambles for 13 yards, his longest gain from scrimmage on the season. Mike Stratton is out, is in, and Dave Washington comes out of the linebacker. Ball at the Bills' 13-yard line. Dolphins with a first down. Warfield splits to the near side, Twilly off to the far side. Kick-Nzaka, the split backs behind Morrow. The handoff goes to Kick. He is thrown for a loss at the 14-yard line. Submarining on the play as players start to push each other around down there. Was Jerry Patton, the rookie right side tackle, came in and knocked Kick's feet from beneath him before they could get going. Here comes Mercury Morris in replacing Kick. The ball is at the Bills' 14-yard line. It'll be a 2nd down and 11 for a first down. 14 to go for a touchdown. So that illegal touching call and the ensuing loss of down, the block punt by Curtis Johnson has given the Dolphins excellent field position. 7:25 to go in this third quarter. Mercury Morris sets outside along with Twilly as a double wide receiver. Now he comes back in again as somebody is obviously mixed up on the signals. Now he moves over as a wide receiver to the near side. Morrill gets the snap, but the flag goes down, and obviously a delay of the game as somebody was mixed up on the signals. Morris came in and set as a backfield man, and then Morrill motioned him out to the far side, apparently meaning the near side, and Mercury had to come all the way back to the near side to set as a wide receiver, so the Dolphins are penalized 5 yards for delay of the game. The penalty puts the ball back down at the Bills 19, and that's another mistake for the Dolphins, their first one here in the second half. They had a real problem with mistakes in the first half. Twilly sets wide, second down and 16. The ball at the 19-yard line. Now Kick sets as a wide man to the left side. Zonka in behind Morrill. Morrill drops the throw. He fires the pass. The receiver, Warfield, was tripped up, fell down, and Warfield is being hollered at by Alvin Wyatt. Wyatt came running up and was waving his hands in Warfield's face after Warfield apparently had slipped at the 15-yard line. Mike Stratton was the man who covered him, but Wyatt came running up in a rather childish, juvenile gesture, as if to say to Warfield, well, you didn't catch that one. But it's a third down now and 16 for the Dolphins at the 19-yard line. They have to get the ball down to the 3 for a first down. Let's see what Morrill comes up with this time. Twilly splits off to the far side. Zonka and Kick set in the eye behind Morrill. The ball at the 19-yard line. A third down and 16, 19 yards to score. Now Kick sets off as a split back. Morrill gets a 5-yard penalty for delay of the game, putting the ball in play, and another mistake hurts the Dolphins. 2 consecutive, almost consecutive delay of the game calls. The first one was not Earl's fault, but this one was. And they do not look like a smooth functioning offensive unit in this ball game. The defense has really helped them out. Kick comes out and Morris goes in. The ball is now placed down back at the Bills' 24. It'll be a 3rd and 21 for a first down, 24 yards to go for a TD. 7 minutes, 6 seconds to go in the third quarter. Dolphins leading 14-13. Twilly splits right. Warfield sets as a slap man right. Morris and Zonka are the splitbacks behind Morrill from the Bills' 24-yard line. Earl rolls out to his right. He's got a flag down, throwing deep for Warfield. It's way overthrown, incomplete, but there's a flag on the play. Back at the 32-yard line. And it might be a holding call. We'll wait for the official's call. That's what it is. On Larry Zonka, I believe. And that will be a costly one as Morrill was splitting out to his right and threw the ball, intended for Warfield deep in the end zone, but the ball was almost thrown into the stands. They had the blitz on that time, the Bills did, and they were coming very strong, and Morrill had to sprint out to his right, and that perhaps threw his timing off and threw off his strategy, what he actually wanted to do. This is a bad penalty here because it moves the Dolphins so far away from what would be considered field goal territory. Mandich is in. Now Morrill's strategy on third down as the ball is moved back to the Bills' 39-yard line, and the Dolphins hurt here with delay of game calls and a holding infraction, which I'm sure Zonk was forced into when Morrill was forced out of the pocket by the Buffalo blitz. They have the ball at the Bills' 39-yard line. Twilly splits right, Warfield to the near side. It's third down and 36 yards to go for a first down at the Bills' 39. Morris and Zonka, the split backs behind Morrill. Morrill up at the line of scrimmage, barks the signals, hands off, trap play. Zonka through the middle, gets inside the 35, and is knocked off his feet at the 31. Again, we have a little pushing and jabbing back in the backfield, and a flag is thrown. Now let's see what's going to be on. Personal foul against Miami.
Would you believe it's on Norm Evans? Norm Evans downfield there, he was in a little pushing contest.
Well, I'm sure Norman was pushed first because he doesn't do that, and I'm not trying to denigrate the Bills in any way, but
Norman is one of the finest Christians, gentlemen,
I know.
I've ever met, and he's called for a personal foul for pushing against the Buffalo Bills.
And again, Dolphin mistakes. We get called after Zonka had picked up at least yardage good enough to give Garrow good field position for a field goal attempt. We get called for a personal foul on Norm Evans, of all people. Our spotter, Al Book, watching the ball game closely in the secondary, says that Alvin Wyatt and Maurice Tyler, those two deep backs, the safeties, are guilty of hitting Evans first and hitting after the whistle. And Norm just retaliated. So this sets the ball back 15 more yards to the Bills' 47-yard line.
And what has turned out to be a comedy of errors and penalties.
It's 4th down and 44. And 44. The Dolphins were not aware of the 4th down situation. And so Yepremian's field goal unit comes in. Now, Garrow's longest, 52 yards against Detroit in a preseason game. Morrow will hold. This will be a 56-yard attempt. Morrow will hold. 56 yards. Snap, set down. The kick is up. He's got the distance. It is gone! 54 yards. I beg your pardon. 54-yard field goal by Darryl Yepremian. 54 yards as the ball was set down at the 46-yard line, and that is the longest in Garrow's career. People coming in here hollering at us, wanting to know what was the penalty was on, and I couldn't concentrate on the yardage. There's a 54-yard field goal for Garrow, the longest of his career. He had the wind behind him, and the little guy gives the Dolphins a 4-point lead, 17-13. Everybody's running in here wanting to know what that last penalty on the Dolphins was for. It was against Norm Evans for unsportsmanlike conduct. And Yepremian, as Morrow held from the Dolphins' 46, Boots won 54 yards. And the Dolphins lead by a score of 17-13. That is his longest field goal of his career, and it couldn't come at a better time. Lindsey Cole is the deep man off to the far side, and down the near side is J.D. Hill. This has been a ball game in which you have had to watch closely the officiating. Now, I don't normally like to criticize the officials, but when I find myself talking about the officiating all the time, well, you have to take a second look at it. The officials in the NFL are the best in the business, but they have been booed plenty this afternoon. Of course, the Dolphins have made a lot of mistakes. They have made horrendous mistakes on offense, and that defense has really keyed them. All right, waiting for the kickoff. 6 minutes, 46 seconds to go in the third quarter, following Yepremian's longest field goal of his career, 54 yards. Here's the whistle. Garrow gets it high. It's way back there. Cole grabs it. He will down it right on the baseline of the end zone. There'll be no run back. So the Bills will put it in play from their 20-yard line, and this Dolphin defense should get a standing ovation. As they come on the field, they have really come to play in the second half. And they did an excellent job in that first half. With the offense, who were making all the mistakes. The defense in the first half held the Bills to only one first down, 7 passing yards, and 23 yards on the ground. Simpson and Braxton of the I formation backs behind Dennis Shaw. Chandler and Hill split to the right side. Here's a handoff to O.J. Trying to find a hole, and Bill Stanfill about sliced him in half. He tried to come over the left side, and Stanfill had leverage and just threw the shoulder and the head into him and flattened him out for a yard gain at the 21. They're not getting, Lou, they don't seem to be getting the key blocks up front that they need. They have it all afternoon. That offensive line for Buffalo is just not performing.
Well, Rick, we've got to say something about that defensive line of Miami. That no-name defense still is right in there, putting on all the pressure on that young line.
Here's the pitch to Simpson to the left side, tries to turn the corner, and he's smothered at the 25-yard line on the far side of the field. Doug Swift, Nick Bonaconte, the linebackers, along with Curtis Johnson.
Then, too, Rick, you got to remember that the way that you defense a team like Buffalo is your defense against their number one runner. The number one runner, and probably the only good runner on the club, well, the best, let's say, is O.J. Simpson. So you really put all your defense in stopping him.
All right, the prevent situation now, the 53 and its variations, as Mumford and Matheson go in. As a linebacker or defensive end and a fifth defensive back, Dunaway and Bonaconte come out. 3rd down and 5. Shaw drops the throw from his 25. He sets. The ball is deflected by the rush. And I believe Stanfill is the guy who got a hand on it. It was intended for O.J. Simpson and fell harmlessly to the ground as the Dolphins defense has really come out and taken control of this game. Let's get those handkerchiefs out and give this Dolphin defense a standing ovation. As they come on, they have just taken the play away and have compensated for the offensive mistake. So the punting situation comes up. The last time Mr. Jones was back there, he had one driven down his throat by Curtis Johnson. Charlie Lee is back deep. Dick Anderson shallow.
Line of scrimmage, Buffalo 25. Jones stands at the 10. Low snap. Fumbles the ball. He's going to have to run with it now. He's the 15 to the 20. Up to the 25. And he has really cracked at the 30-yard line, and he gets the first down. Heads-up football and running by Spike Jones, the punter. A low snap. He had nowhere to kick it, and he was really flattened out. But he gets up and goes off under his own power. Doug Swift and Charlie Babb. And he runs it out for the first down out to the Buffalo 33-yard line. He was really smacked. But he gets the first down.
Rick, it looks as if the Miami line just didn't plan on rushing on that play. They planned on building up some kind of wall to run back, and no one really penetrated through that line, so consequently Jones had all sorts of running room.
4 minutes, 38 seconds to go in the third quarter. Dolphins lead 17-13 in a tight one. Hill splits left, Chandler to the near side. Braxton and Simpson, the split backs behind Shaw from the Buffalo 33. Hand off to Braxton. He is going to lose yardage on a slant over the left side. A counter slant, and he gets to the 32, and that's all. A loss of a yard. Manny Fernandez again. Manny, I think, has played perhaps the finest game I've ever seen him play as a Dolphin defender this afternoon. He stole the ball from Shaw on the offensive sequence right at the start of this third quarter. Gave the Dolphins excellent field position at the 10. It took him one play to get in. He's been in on tackles all afternoon and has just performed admirably. Second down, 11. Bills ball at their 32. I'll tell you, this is a game where you've had to know the rules to follow what the officials have been calling this afternoon also. Stanfield jumps, gets back in time. Shaw tries to throw. He completes a pass to Braxton. Fumbles. Dick Anderson picks it up. And they're going to call it an incomplete forward pass, I believe. Anderson had started to run. Braxton was hit by the leg, and the ball jarred loose up at the Bills 45. And Anderson picked it up, but the play had been blown dead. Incomplete forward pass. We've got a new quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, Mike Tolliver, who's been around this league about as long as George Blanda. They roll out an incomplete forward pass. Tolliver is in his 9th year, and it'll be a third down and 11. For the Bills, the ball at their 32-yard line. Mike's name is really Taliaferro, but he prefers to be called Tolliver. J.D. Hill splits left. Chandler to the near side. He's back to throw. Here's the pass. And it's dropped. Off the hands of Jim Braxton. Little screen pass, and Braxton couldn't hold it. So the punting situation comes up again, and the Dolphins defense hold him. Charlie Lee, who has been wearing a pass back and forth out there, trying to get in a position to field a punt, goes back in again as the deep man. Dick Anderson, the shallow man. And Spike Jones, who's got one off the side of his foot, had a 62-yarder and had one blocked in this ball game. Goes back at about the Bills' 19. He's kicking against the wind. 3:38 to go in the third quarter. Here's the snap. A good one this time. Gets a rush. Almost blocked again. Low end over end kick. Anderson grabs it for the Dolphins at the 40. Cuts to the near side. Up to the 35. The 40. He is still going. Bouncing off tacklers. Oh, tremendous effort. He shot down at the 47-yard line by Dick Anderson. He grabbed that ball back at the 30 when a swarm of white jerseys was all over him and runs like a broken field runner, bouncing off tacklers, looking for the hole, and runs it back up to the Dolphins 47. He's tackled by Leon Guerrero and Andy Selfridge. 17-yard return.
William Lehman now offers you the rotary engine Mazda. William Lehman Mazda, 6310 South Dixie Highway, South Miami.
WIOD, Miami. In the eye. Morrell on the snap, spins, hands to kick. He puts his head down and tries to get over the left side. Gets about a yard, maybe two. Out to the 49-yard line before Don Croft, the defensive left tackle, makes the stop on the play. Gain of two, it'll be second down and 8. Wyatt Fleming is the tight end. Morrell the quarterback. Kick and Zonka the running backs. Warfield and Pulley are the wide receivers. Dolphins out in front, 17-13. Magnificent play by the defense, especially Manny Fernandez here in his third quarter. Yepremian with a 54-yard field goal, his longest. Pulley switch to the far side. Kick and Zonka in the eye. From the Dolphins 49, Morrell drops the throw. He sets up, fires. It is almost picked off by that big linebacker again, Ken Lee, who leaped high in the air. Morrell threw the ball intended for Paul Warfield upfield, but Lee jumped in the air. He's 6'4" and got a hand on it and knocked it away. Almost intercepted it. Third down and 8. He ran one back in the first half for a touchdown. 2 minutes, 23 seconds to play in the third period. Dolphins lead 17-13 against a fired-up Buffalo team, but this Dolphin offense has made a lot of mistakes, a lot of costly penalties, fumbles on bad handoffs. Willie splits right, Warfield on the near side. It'll take him a week or so to get adjusted. Earl. He fakes the handoff, play action, now falls down, backing up, and loses yardage back to about the 37-yard line.
Rick, they rushed the kitchen sink in on that play. All three linebackers coming in, plus all that line. There was nowhere for Earl to go.
That's what Allie Sherman used to call a seven-man blitz. As Earl, trying to get out of the pocket, tripped over his feet and fell down back at the 37. And so, with a fourth down situation, Larry Seipel, with the wind to his back, has to kick for the first time. He's averaging 42.2 yards per punt. Lindsey Cole, J.D. Hill go back as double receivers. The line of scrimmage is the Dolphins 37. Seipel stands at the 22. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Dolphins lead 17-13. Waiting for the snap. Here it is. He gets the kick out of there, low end over end. It'll be grabbed by Hill at the Bills 21, looks for the hole, 25, 30, and he's nailed at the 32. An 11-yard return by J.D. Hill. Charlie Babb downfield is the man who got him. So Mike Tolliver comes in to direct the offense for the Bills again, and they will have field position from their 32-yard line. Braxton and O.J. Simpson will be the running backs. And they will have J.D. Hill, along with Bob Chandler as the wide receivers. Hill splits to the far side, Chandler to the near side. The Dolphins have done an excellent job in shutting off Shaw's long pass this afternoon so far. Or Tolliver's long pass, too. Here's the handoff on the delay to Simpson. Sweep to the left side, gets the corner turn, 35 to the 40. And he is wrestled out of bounds at the 43-yard line on the far side of the field by Jake Scott. He picks up a first down, I'm sure. J.D. Hill threw a good block out in front of him to get him loose. Let's see where they're going to put the ball down. This may not be a first down. He was out. They had to get up just across the 42. And maybe they didn't make it. Officials over there ruling where he went out. Now the referee marks it and brings it in from the far side. It's going to be about a yard shy. As they mark it at the 42, it'll be second down and 1. 17-13, Dolphins fighting for their lives this afternoon as the offense has not been able to do much consistently since the opening drive. The defense has had to really key the offense, especially in the second half. White and Christensen, two tight ends are in on a second and short yardage for the Buffalo Bills from their 42-yard line. Flags will go down as somebody made contact. The handoff goes inside. Dunaway is the man who looked like he jumped, whether he was lured offsides or not remains to be seen. Mike Tolliver, the quarterback, on the sneak that time. And we're going to get a defensive offsides call against Miami. Dunaway was the man who moved and made contact, could not get back. And so a first down is achieved by the Bills on the 5-yard defensive offsides call up at their 47-yard line. Mike Tolliver has been around. He played with the New England Patriots last year. It's his 9th year in the league, 6'2", 205. We have a minute and 7 seconds showing on the board left to play in the third quarter. Dolphins with a 4-point lead, 17-13. J.D. Hill splits left. Chandler to the near side. Braxton and Simpson, the split backs, in behind Tolliver. From the Bills' 47, he drops straight back to throw. Has time. Fires the middle. It is almost intercepted. Intended for J.D. Hill. Thrown high off his fingertips. Mike Poland had a shot at it. Curtis Johnson had a shot at it. And so did Jake Scott. It fell in between all three of them. Second down and 10. For the Bills, the ball up there, 47. Earl Morrow took the opening kickoff and drove 80 yards in 12 plays, and then the mistakes started. Fumbles, which the Bills recovered, and a pass interception, which they ran in for a touchdown. Mumford is in, replacing Bonacounti now on defense. The defense has really helped out, Fernandez especially. All right, Chandler near side, J.D. Hill wide receiver far side. Here's the handoff on the delay. Big hole in the middle. Braxton, the ball carrier, squirts through across the 50, 45, down across the 40-yard line to the Dolphins' 39 before Curtis Johnson tripped him up.
Molly Moore is in there in place of Fernandez on that last play, Rick, and Molly was really the reason why Simpson made that good run on there. He let the man block him off from the hole, and you're going to make yards whenever you're not right there.
They put the ball at the Dolphins' 40-yard line. A first down, 13 yards for Braxton. First down for the Bills at the Dolphins 40, and Tolliver is moving his football team now. We have 26 seconds to play in the third quarter. Dolphins lead 17-13. Tolliver up under center. On the snap, hands off to Braxton through the left side. He gets only a couple to about the 38. Tackled by Jim Dunaway and Bill Stanfield.
Same play, Rick, only this time Dunaway compensated for it, came down, made the tackle.
Gain of 2. It'll be a second down coming up for the Bills, and they may not get another playoff here in this third quarter as the clock is moving with 2 seconds, 1 second. And there's the gun. Ending the third quarter, Dolphin football action will continue from the Orange Bowl with a score, Miami 17, Buffalo 13. Second down and 8. Buffalo's ball at the Miami 38-yard line. Simpson and Braxton, the split backs in behind Tolliver. He drops straight back to throw. He has time. He sets and he fires. He throws it high. Intended for O.J. Simpson off his hands. And Mike Cullen covered on the play. So it'll be a third down and 8. Carol Yepremian, 54-yard field goal with a wind behind him. And I don't know whether that was a factor, but he sure had it on target. And that has been a big play, along with Purdue stealing the ball from Shaw to open this third quarter. And Bronca's ensuing touchdown run. The Bills have the football with a third down and 8. The ball at the Dolphins' 38-yard line. Tolliver brings them out. J.D. Hill splits far side. Chandler sets the slot man right. Simpson and Braxton, the split backs in behind Mike Tolliver. He drops back to throw on third down. He sets, he hits, he releases the ball. It is incomplete. He was really cracked by Bill Stanfield just as he got the ball away, and the ball intended downfield, I believe, for Jan White, the tight end, fell harmlessly to the ground. So we get John Leopold, the field goal kicker, who's already had a kick 2 of 35 and 34 against the wind. Now we'll try one from 45 yards approximately, if indeed it is a field goal with a 4th and 8 situation. And if he makes it, this could bring them up to within 1 point. Bob Chandler will hold for the Dolphins 45. Leopold with kicks of 35 and 34 yards thus far. This one from 45 yards out. Straight in with the wind behind him. Snap, set down, the kick is up. He's got the distance. It's good. So, Leopold brings him right back into the ball game with 14:44 left to play. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with the score. Our Dolphins 17, the Bills 16. Rick Weaver, Lou Crickmer, and Henry Barrow back at the Orange Bowl where drama reigns. 14:44 left to play. The Bills on Leopold's 45-yard field goal are just 1 point behind now. The Dolphin lead 17-16. Leopold preparing to kick off to Charlie Lee and Mercury Morris. Here is the kick. It is high. It is deep. It'll be out of the end zone. There'll be no run back on the touchback. And the Dolphins will start from their 20-yard line, moving from our left to our right toward the east end of the field. And ball control, field position now becomes important. Jim Kick and Larry Zonka will be the running backs. Paul Warfield and Howard Twilley, the wide receivers, and Earl Morrill, the quarterback. Dolphins with a 1-point lead, 17-16. Marv Fleming is the tight end. Out of the huddle they come. First and 10 Dolphins from our 20-yard line. Warfield splits left. Twilley to the near side. Kick and Zonka split backs behind Morrill. Morrill hands the kick, and he's going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage and dropped for 2-yard loss. A tackle on the play as he is knocked down back at the 18-yard line, made by Walt Patulski, the big first-year defensive left end. Second down and 12. And this Buffalo defense has been tough. They stopped the Dolphins on a goal line defense in that first quarter, and they have been tough. Larry Zonka in the first half had 78 yards unofficially, kicked 37. Morris just 2 yards net and 1 touchdown. Second down and 12. Dolphins from our 18-yard line. Here is Morrill dropping the throw. He fires. It is dropped by Warfield. The pass was thrown low and a slant in over the middle. And at the 33, Warfield had a dive for the ball and couldn't hold on to it. Covered by Alvin Wyatt, the weak safety, and middle linebacker Ken Lee on the play. So it'll bring up third down and 12.
Those two have been having a lot of fun together, Rick. Alvin Wyatt and Paul Warfield. They've been playing a lot of games out there for the entire afternoon.
They put in their prevent defense as they insert an extra defensive back. Leon Garrar has come in. Ball at the Dolphins 18, a third down and 12. Big play here for Earl. Warfield splits left, believe to the near side. Kicking Zonka. Split backs behind Morrill. He drops straight to throw. Fires. Warfield got it. 35. He has really cracked and holds onto the ball. First down for the Dolphins. Maurice Tyler, the rookie strong safety, really hit him. They put the ball down at the Dolphin 35. And it's a 17-yard completion, actually 18 yards as they mark it at the 36. That was a big play. Warfield held on to it. It was the same play for which the previous pass pattern had been intended, only Morrow did not lay the ball in there the previous time like he did that time. First down, Dolphins at our 36-yard line. Warfield split to the far side, Twilly just a couple of yards off the near side. Zonka on a delay over the left side gets just a couple of yards, maybe only one, out to the 37. As he is smothered by white jerseys. 13-13 left to play. Ken Lee, the middle linebacker. What a job he's done. Jerry Patton, the right tackle for Buffalo. Make the stop on the play. A ball at the Dolphins, 37. It'll be a second down and 9 with 13 minutes left to go in the ball game. The Dolphins with a 1-point lead, 17-16 on the 54-yard field goal by Garo Yepremian, the longest of his career. Morrill brings the Dolphins out. Twilly splits off the far side. Warfield slot man left. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the splitbacks behind Morrill from the Dolphin 37. Here is the handoff to Zonka, shakes the tackler, puts his head down, and rams his way out to about the 38-yard line, and that's all. Again, that handoff was not the best in the world as Zonka appeared from here to have to come back for it. From Morrill, Goodry, and Lee on the stop. In the seventh inning, the World Series, Oakland 3 and the Cincinnati Reds 1, and that's the latest we have. Ball at the Dolphins 38. It'll be a third down and 8. Third down and 8 with 12 minutes and 14 seconds left to play in the ball game. Dolphins leading by 1, 17-16. The ball at the Dolphins 38. Warfield splits left, Twilly to the near side. Kick and Zonka remain the running back. Morrill drops to throw. He has time, fires. It is intended for Mark Fleming, and a flag goes down, and pass interference, I believe, is going to be called on Buffalo's left cornerback, Robert James. Fleming was the intended receiver. As he came up, stopped and hooked in at the near side inbound hash mark at the 45-yard line. And pass interference is called against Robert James, the left cornerback, as he interfered with Fleming's right to the football. So the Dolphins get a break on the pass interference. Wait a minute. A first down out of this, of course. It was not pass interference. It was defensive holding. Called on James. So that's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down instead of the 15-yarder. And the Dolphins have the ball at their 43-yard line with a first down. Morrill up under center, barks the signal, waiting for the snap. Here's the handoff, kick, counter play in the middle, big hole, 50, 45, 40, down to the 37-yard line goes Jim Kick. Paul Goodry, the linebacker, dragged him down from behind, and what great trap blocking up front that time by the Dolphins' forward wall as Kick found a tremendous hole.
Fleming's supposed to block on that play over the middle, Rick, and Kick burst through there so fast that Fleming and he were running side by side. Fleming couldn't get in front of him.
Jim Kick, 20-yard pickup, first down at the Bills' 37-yard line. Warfield splits to the left side. Twilly is set in a couple of yards. Now right off Norm Evans' shoulder. Kick and Zonka, the split backs behind Morrill. Here's the handoff going to Kick. He's in trouble and gets about a yard. Trying to go over the left side, gets back to the 36, and that's all. Al Collins, defensive end, and tackled Don Croft in on the stop. Ball is put down at the Buffalo 36-yard line. It'll be a second down coming up and 9 for the Dolphins. As Morrill, playing ball control, trying to utilize as much time and get a touchdown out of this drive. 10 minutes, 52 seconds left to go. Dolphins lead by 1, 17-16. Warfield splits left. Twilly is a wingman right. Kick and Zonka, the split backs in behind Morrill. From the Bills 36, here's the handoff to Kick. Sweep to the right. Behind middle, gets the corner turn down to the 30. Back in, across the 25. It is knocked down at the 24-yard line. First down for the Dolphins. Alvin Wyatt, the weak safety. Boy, I'll tell you, when that little gets out in front of you, it's like having a whole blocking wedge in front. He just eats people alive. As Kick picks up the first down to the Bills' 24-yard line. Kick is out, and Morris comes in. The Dolphins' offensive backfield. The ball is at Buffalo's 24. First down for the Dolphins with 10 minutes and 12 seconds to play. Dolphins leading 17-16. Morrill with his best drive going since the first quarter. Warfield splits left, Twilly to the near side. Morris and Zonka are the split backs in behind Earl Morrill. From the Bills' 24-yard line. Waiting for the snap. Here's the handoff. Morris, big hole in the middle. 20, 15 down to the 14-yard line. Squirts Mercury Morris. The tackle made by strong safety Maurice Tyler. And they're going to mark it at the 15. And that will be just about a yard shy of a first down. Morris picks up 9 yards. It'll be second down and 1. That Dolphin line, offensive line, really firing out now. They need to get to the 14 for a first down. The ball is at the 15. Second down and 1. Warfield splits to the far side. Bully just off a couple of yards to the right side. Morris and Zonka. The split backs behind Morrill. Here's the handoff to Mercury. Sweep to the right. Cuts back to his left. 15, 10, 5. He scores! To the right side and then cut back to his left. A great block thrown by Larry Little. You just cannot say what this guy means to that offensive line. He just hammered people that time. And Morris sweeps in from 15 yards out. Yepremian to try the point from placement. Morrill will hold. 9:18 to go. Dolphins lead 23-16. Snap set down. The kick is up. And it is perfect. With 9:18 to go in the ball game. Dolphin football action will continue in 1 minute. The score, Miami 24, Buffalo 16. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Yepremian prepares to kick off. J.D. Hill deep off to the far side. Lindsey Cole down the near side. 9:18 to go. The Dolphins with an 8-point lead. Here's the kick. He squibs one in the middle. A tough ball to handle. Hill bobbles it around, grabs it at the goal line. Out to the 5, the 10, the 15 to the 20. He is hit and cracked at the 25. A tackle on the play for the Dolphins specialty squad by Lloyd Mumford. 25-yard return. When Garrow hits that ball a little high, and he does that on purpose, he gets off a knuckleball type kick, and it's very difficult for a receiver to handle, and Hill juggled it around back at the goal line before finally getting possession of it. Runs it out to the 25. Simpson and Braxton are the running backs. Tolliver remains the quarterback. Hill splits left, Chandler slapman left. Now he gets up and goes in motion off to the far side. Bills from their 25. Tolliver hands off. Here comes O.J. Big hole left side. Check it. Braxton, 35 across the 40, out across the 45, and there's a flag down. That was Braxton, the big fullback who weighs 235. Got a great hole across the left side of the line. And Curtis Johnson brought him down, along with Jake Scott, and the Dolphins are going to be called for face masking. On the tackle, I believe it's against Jake Scott, and that'll cost him another 5. Henry?
That's just what we wanted to tell you, Rick. It was Jake.
Jake Scott on the face mask. So Braxton running beautifully. Picked up some 20 yards, perhaps 21, and then another 5-yard penalty on the face mask, and the Bills are right back in it with a first down at the Dolphins' 49-yard line. 8:34 to go. Here is Hill, split left, Chandler to the far side. Braxton and Simpson are the split backs. From the Dolphins, 49. Tolliver hands off on the delay to O.J. He is caught behind the line of scrimmage, and it's slammed down. Another flag goes down. He might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. I don't think so. He was flattened out at the 50-yard line, but there's a flag thrown in the Dolphins' defensive backfield.
It's holding on someone, Rick, and I think it's holding on that offensive line of Buffalo.
Vern Denherter is the guy who made the good hit on Simpson. Dick Hart, the offensive right guard, is the man we detect for Buffalo as holding on the play. So this will cost them 15 yards. And the Bills get a mistake called on them. They need possession and field position. The penalty sets the ball back to the Buffalo 36-yard line and just nullified that last gain by Braxton and the ensuing penalty. Henry?
They called that holding penalty on Reggie McKenzie, the guard.
Okay, you say McKenzie. Reggie McKenzie, the left guard. We had Dick Hart, the right guard. 8 minutes, 29 seconds to go in the ball game. The ball back at the Bills' 36. First down and 26. Hill and Chandler split off the near side. Tolliver, the quarterback, has Braxton and Simpson, the split backs. Chandler goes in motion off to the far side of the field. Long count. Here's the handoff to O.J. on the dive across the left side, across the 40. Gets out to the 42-yard line. Nick Bonaconte, the middle linebacker, and defensive end Bill Stanfield make the stop. Dolphins leading 24-16, going for their 6th in a row, which would be the longest win streak without a loss at the beginning of the season, in the last 2 years at least in the NFL. Lloyd Mumford comes in, replaces Mike Colon in the Dolphins' prevent defense. Washington won 5 straight last year before they were knocked off by Kansas City. Remember, for our fans in Miami, the Rolling Home Show on WIOD, immediately following the play-by-play, and following that, the scoreboard show. Second down and 20. Bills ball from their 42-yard line. Tolliver dropping straight back to throw. He sets. He is going to have to eat it now. Back at the 35-yard line. Multy Moore Dolphins rookie defensive tackle from Bethune-Cookman, 265-pounder, wrapped those big arms around him and just flattened him out back at the 35.
Rick, it's something really of interest down there. After Morris threw him for that loss, Manny Fernandez walks up and gives him a big handshake and pats him on the back.
Baldy, who just made the sack of the quarterback, comes out and Jim Dunaway replaces him. It'll be a third down and 27 for the Bills. The ball back at their 35-yard line. Bonaconte is out. And Matheson is in. 7 minutes, 29 seconds to go in this ball game. Dolphins lead 24-16. Third down, long yardage, 27 for the Bills from their 35-yard line. On the snap, Tolliver drops to throw. He has time this time. He fires. It is caught and almost beheaded as Chandler shakes off the tackle. He's caught again by Dick Anderson, who is holding on and riding him like a bulldog steer at the 39-yard line. Chandler was hit immediately. As soon as he caught the ball, a hook cut into the far side. He shook off the tackle, and then Anderson got him by the jersey and just rode right up his back and held on to him. He didn't gain nearly enough yardage up to the 39, so Spike Jones is in to kick. And the Dolphin defense gets a well-deserved ovation as it comes off once again for the umpteenth time. They have held this Buffalo offense. Jones has had one block this afternoon. Will stand back at the 24. The line of scrimmage, the Buffalo 39. Charlie Lee is deep, back up the Miami 15. Jones kicking with the wind behind him. Gets off a wobbly spiral to the near side. Charlie Lee grabs it from Miami at the 15, cuts to the near sideline to the 20, shakes the tackle, and is tripped up from behind at the 21. Charlie Lee with about a 6-yard return down on the specialty teams, ex-Dolphin Dale Farley. Here's Zonka on the handoff. He sweeps the right side and booms his way out to about the 30-yard line. Larry Zonka, a 9-yard pickup. As they gave us a short timeout, and we just barely got back in time. Morrill handed off to Zonka. He swept the right side and picks up about 9. It'll be second down and 1. Tackled by Robert Gaines. Let's pause for station identification on the Miami Dolphins Football Network.
Join the winning team. William Lehman has sold more Buicks than any other dealer in the South. William Lehman Buick, 163rd Street and Biscayne Boulevard in North Miami Beach. WIOD, Miami.
Warfield splits left, fully to the near side. Hand off the kick. He spreads his way for the first down out across the 31 out to about the 34-yard line. Jim Kick, the ball carrier, tackled by defensive tackle Jerry Patton and defensive end Al Cowlings. Time becomes a factor now. 5:30 left to go. Dolphins with a first down at their 34-yard line, leading by 8, 24-16. Other scores. Third quarter, St. Louis and the Giants, 21-21. In the seventh inning, it's still Oakland 3 and Cincinnati 1 in the World Series. And that brings us up to date from what we have here in our booth. The Western Union ticker is broken down today. We're depending on our newsroom here at WIOD for the scores. Dolphin with the power blocking unit. Here's the pitch going to kick, and somebody was really waiting for him. A big loss. Back at the 25-yard line, Kick is thrown for a tremendous loss by Goodrich, the left linebacker who was blitzing. Morrow got the pitch, and no sooner had Kick gathered into the ball than he was smothered by Goodrich, and the Dolphins lose big yardage.
Goodrich played that play, Rick, just exactly the way that outside linebacker is supposed to play that pitch out there. As the offensive tackle, offensive guard came out, he penetrated right between them and made the tackle. Beautiful.
All right, the ball is back at the Dolphins' 27, where it'll be a second down and 17. The clock moving with 4:30 to go in the ball game. Dolphins with an 8-point lead. Warfield splits to the far side, fully to the near side. Here's the handoff to Kick, sweep to the left side. He gets the corner turn, and that's about all, as he's wrestled out of bounds at the 29 on the far side of the field by big defensive right tackle Jerry Patton. A gain of 2, and that'll bring up the third down and 15 for the Dolphins. Miami has made a tremendous number of mistakes, penalties, fumbles, turnovers, a pass interception, run back for a touchdown, but the defense has really held them together here in the second half especially, and also in the first half. Kick comes out, Morris goes in. Buffalo was held to just 1 first down and about 30 total offensive yards in the first half, but they still led 13-7 at halftime off Dolphins' mistakes. But Manny Fernandez and this Dolphin defense really took over in the third quarter especially. Third down and 15. Dolphins from the 29. Here is the handoff. Goes to Zonka as Zonka hits the right side and is immediately met by a host of white jerseys. After short yardage, gets it out to the 31, so Seifel will have to punt.
Almost had a goof up there, Rick, in the handling off of the ball by Earl to Larry.
He has had a lot of problems with handoffs. We noticed it last week. He had time to work on it this week, but kicks 2 fumbles, I believe, were caused in the first half by bad handoffs. We got Cole and Hill back as double receivers on this punt, and the wind has sprung up again. I don't know how it is down on the field, but it's really booming in here against Seipel. He'll stand back at the 16-yard line. The line of scrimmage, the Dolphins 31. Waiting for the snap, Howard Kindig, an old Buffalo Bill, snapping the ball. He gets it to Seipel. He gets one up there and hangs it. Doesn't go very far. Bounces the Bills 42 inside the 40 and touches the Dolphin and is going to be down at the 35. Actually, at the 37-yard line. Henry?
You want to know about that wind, Rick? It's picked up very strongly now. It's hardly gusting anymore. It's just a heavy straight wind.
The ball is put down for the Bills at their 36. Larry Zonka has now gone over 100 yards for the 3rd time this year and the 9th time in his career. Larry Zonka with an excellent rush average this afternoon. Simpson and Braxton behind Tolliver are the splitbacks. J.D. Hill and Chandler are the wide receivers. Now Chandler moves from the left to the right side in motion. For the Bills, 36, handoff to Braxton, finds a hole, cuts back to his right across the 40, 45, out to the 47-yard line. Goes the big fullback, Jim Braxton, before he is hit. Bonacani on the tackle along with Doug Swift, and that's good for a Buffalo first down, as Braxton has run well in the second half. 2 minutes, 43 seconds left to go. The Dolphins leading 24-16. This one is still not out of the woods. J.D. Hill splits to the near side, Chandler off to the far side. First down, Bills from their 47. Tolliver drops to throw. He sets. He breaks out of the pocket, going to run with it. 45, 50, into Dolphin territory at the 45, eludes a tackler to the 40, and is knocked down at the Miami 38-yard line. Definitely a scramble situation. Nick Bonacani recovering to make the tackle on the play, and there is a Buffalo man laid out at his left guard, Reggie McKenzie. He is laid out on the field. Tolliver was trapped back there and broke out of the scramble. He ducked under a couple of the big defenders and just ran it up the near sidelines and gets a first down for Buffalo in Miami territory at the Dolphins' 38.5-yard line. McKenzie appears to be okay. Reggie McKenzie, the left guard, was an All-American at Michigan last year. Cleveland has moved out in front of Houston at the half, 13-7. And into the ball game comes Steve Okonewski, a rookie, number 60 from Montana. He is 6'3", weighs 247. 2 minutes, 17 seconds to go. Dolphins with an 8-point lead. The Bills on the march with a first down at the Dolphins' 38-yard line. Mike Tolliver, who has moved this football team better than Shaw did, up under center, on the snap, on the delay, hand off to Braxton, big hole left side, and he's tripped up at the 30-yard line. He gets 8. That delay slant over the left side, it's actually a counter play, has picked up good yardage for Braxton. Curtis Johnson makes the tackle on the play. There is the 2-minute warning. Dolphin football action will continue in 1 minute. The score, our Dolphins 24 and the Bills 16. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Bob Hines has come in on defense. It's Curtis Johnson over checking something with Don Shula. Hines is in at defensive tackle for Jim Dunaway. Hines, for the unfamiliar, started for this ball club last year, started at a defensive lineman position in the Super Bowl. He just came back a couple of weeks ago from a back injury suffered in the second preseason game against Green Bay. Here with 2 minutes to go, it's 2nd down and 2. Bills on the march with a 2nd and 2 at the Dolphins' 30-yard line. Dolphins with an 8-point lead, 24-16. The story of this ball game has been the Dolphin defense taking the offense and their mistakes off the hooks this afternoon. Zonka has rushed again for another 100-yard day. 9th time in his career, the 3rd time this year. Here's Tolliver handing to Simpson, sweep to the right. Does he get the corner turn? He is grabbed, shakes the tackler, fumble, and the ball goes out of bounds in Buffalo's possession. The last man to have it was Simpson. He was hit and stripped of the ball by Bonacani. Just got the corner turn and gets down to about the 27-yard line. That'll be good for a first down. He fumbled the ball when he's hit, but it went out of bounds, and anytime that happens, it belongs to the last team that had possession of it. They marked the ball at the Miami 26-yard line. First down for the Bills. And with the ball going out of bounds, that stops the clock. 1 minute and 53 seconds to go. Airtime next week from Baltimore against the Colts on WIOD and these network stations, 3:50 Eastern Time. Tolliver, the quarterback. Braxton and Simpson are the splitbacks. J.D. Hill splits right, Bob Chandler near side. He drops a couple of steps in the pocket, throws a pass out to Chandler. He can't hold it. will curl out to the near sideline. Chandler just breaking off his near side wide receiver spot at the 20. The ball was thrown a little bit high, couldn't hold on to it. Curtis Johnson defenses on the play. Johnson blocked the punt, which had not the Dolphins had so many penalties. In that third quarter would have probably given them 6 and ultimately allowed Garo Yepremian to come in and kick his longest field goal, 54 yards. Curtis has been outstanding on these specialty teams today. And at this juncture could well be our Rick Weaver WIOD Specialty Teams Award winner for the Dolphins this week. A second down and 10. Bills ball at the Dolphins' 26-yard line. Tolliver drops the throw. He has time. He fires. It is caught in the middle by Simpson, grabbed by one leg and thrown down at the 25-yard line. Mike Colon got him and refused to let go, or O.J. might have picked up good yardage. And as it turns out, they pick up only a yard gain on the play to the 25-yard line. So there's a timeout called by Buffalo to stop the clock. And when time is in, it'll be third down coming up and 9 with 1 minute and 40 seconds left to play. Henry?
And the rain is coming down now here at the Orange Bowl.
The rain?
Absolutely.
Just a beautiful day, and the wind has been very strong, but just a cloud passing overhead. Hang in there, Henry. In the World Series, in the 8th inning, Oakland 3 and the Cincinnati Reds 2. That's in the 8th inning. We'll have all the scores at our scoreboard show for our Miami listeners on WIOD, and that follows the Rolling Home Show with Lou Creekmer's Dolphin locker room interviews, Henry Barrow from the Bills locker room, Alabrera's traffic reports. That follows our play-by-play immediately. Lloyd Mumford comes in on defense for the Dolphins. The ball at the Dolphins 25. And time will be back in. 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. The Dolphins with an 8-point lead, and the Bills will have a 2nd and 9. Nick Bonacotti is out, and Mumford is in as that 5th defensive back. The mistakes in this ball game on the part of both sides have been numerous, but the Dolphins defense has made up for those mistakes. Here's Hill, split to the left. Chandler, slot man left. Braxton and Simpson, the split backs behind Tolliver. He drops the throw. He fires. It is overthrown, way overthrown, intended for O.J. at the 15, and O.J. holds his hands up around his helmet in frustration. That was a bad pass. So that'll bring up a 4th down situation. Manny Fernandez put on an excellent rush on the passer that time. He broke through at the last minute and perhaps forced Tolliver to throw the ball high. Manny stole the ball from starting quarterback Dennis Shaw at the opening of the third quarter at the 10-yard line on a supposed handoff, and recovered a fumble. Gave the Dolphins tremendous field position. Zonka scored just a play later. Manny and his whole defense do all the credit in the world. They've kept the Dolphins in it after numerous offensive mistakes. On 4th down and 9 from the Dolphins 25. Tolliver hands off. Here's that wide open draw play again. Braxton 20, 15. He's got the first down inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line. Instead of cutting on the counter trap on the draw that time to the left, he cut back to his right and found a lot of daylight. Tackle made by cornerback Lloyd Mumford, and he rambles for 12 yards for a first down. Buffalo calls another timeout to stop the clock. That's their second. They have 1 left, and they have the football at the Dolphins' 13-yard line with 1 minute and 27 seconds left to play. In this football game, Mercury Morris has scored Dolphin touchdowns on runs of 5 and 15 yards. And Garo Yepremian has kicked the longest field goal of his career, 54 yards.
Rick, and I'll tell you, I think Mercury Morris ought to be taking Larry Little out and buying him the biggest steak that he can find in town, because on both his runs, Larry Little just devastated any of the opposition going around that end.
When time is in, O.J. Simpson and Jim Braxton will be the 2 running backs. Now here comes Mike Colon back in on defense at the linebacker spot for the Dolphins. And Buffalo, as Lloyd Mumford comes out, Buffalo will have a first down at the Dolphins' 13-yard line. There's 1 minute and 27 seconds to go in this ball game. And the Dolphins with an 8-point lead, 24-16. Morrow has had 2 long drives today, both of 80 yards, one in the first quarter, one in the last quarter. Morris has scored on both plays. The Dolphins were stopped on a goal line stand earlier by Buffalo. Here's Chandler in motion off the near side. Tolliver dropping to throw. He fires in the end zone. Hill is down there, knocked away. Fine defensive play in the corner of the end zone by quarterback Tim Foley. Also back for the Dolphins was Mike Cullen.
Tim Foley and J.D. Hill have been having words out there, Rick, for just about the last quarter. I've had my eyes on them just about the entire last quarter. And Foley's talking to him continually. This is where the place where it really takes effect, here in the last part of the game, where the guy's starting to hear footsteps.
Mumford is in, Colin is out, and the big Wayne Patrick, 246 pounds, is in for Braxton at a fullback spot. Second down and 10. Bills ball at the Dolphins' 13-yard line. 1:21 to go. Here's Tolliver dropping to throw. The protection breaks down. He fires. It is caught at the 5-yard line and belted back to the 6. Here's Chandler, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 6-yard line. And they're going to say that's where his forward progress was halted. Curtis Johnson is the man who halted him. And they pick him about 7 yards on the play. Dick Anderson also over there on the stop. Now Mike Cohen comes in. The ball is at the Dolphins' 6-yard line. They have to get the ball just across the 3 for a first down. They have 6 yards to go for a score. Third down coming up. Braxton comes back in, and Patrick is out in the Bills' offensive backfield. 1:13 left to play as Chandler got that ball out of bounds on the reception. He's out of the huddle, splits to the far side. J.D. Hill comes to the near side. The Dolphins leading 24-16. 1:13 to go. From the 6-yard line, Tolliver drops the throw. Good protection. He fires. Caught. Touchdown, Braxton. To the man out of the backfield as he slanted in over the middle. And he was hit by Doug Swift, but got away from him at the goal line. And the Bills are right back in it again with 1:07 to go. As Tolliver drills Braxton with a touchdown pass. And that for Mike is his first TD pass of the season. So it's now a 24-22 ball game. And field positions, mistakes, and you start thinking about these things. Coming up, Leipold, who has been perfect this afternoon on extra points, has 3 field goals of 45, 35, and 34 yards. Will try the point. Chandler holds. The kick is up. And it is good. So with 1:07 left to go, the Dolphins now must hold on to this football and keep field position away from the Buffalo Bills, the way Leipold's been kicking this afternoon. The score, the Dolphins 24 and the Bills 23, and we got to play these guys again 2 weeks from today. And, of course, the Baltimore Colts next week as the Dolphins go on the road for 2 games, do not return home until the New England Patriots on November the 12th, and that will be a 3-game homestand. That drive, 64 yards and 10 plays. Braxton, a 6-yard pass reception from Mike Tolliver for the touchdown. The big play was Braxton's 12-yard run on 4th down to keep the drive going. Henry?
Don Shula, anticipating an onside kick, has got everybody up on the line that's used to handling a football.
All right, Charlie Lee is the only deep man, and Leipold puts the ball up on the tee. Now we'll see what the strategy calls here. It has to go 10 yards. And then it's, what was that score? Well, we'll check it for you. 1:07 to go. Now let's see what the strategy calls for. Leipold waiting for the official's whistle. He comes forward, gets the toe into the ball, and kicks it high. Not too deep. Charlie Lee grabs it back at the 13, to the 15, to the 20, cutting for the near side, and he's knocked down at the 20-yard line. A 7-yard return. Leipold got the ball high. He didn't get it deep. And that's, I don't know what they were trying to do there. John Leipold, the kicker, made the tackle on the play. So the Dolphins, instead of trying an onside kick to Bills, elect to kick the ball high. He had the wind behind him and could have kicked it out of sight.
And, Rick, I'm surprised no one has tried to stop the clock as yet. I'm surprised the Bills haven't tried to stop the clock. It's still running right along.
Buffalo has only 1 timeout left unofficially, according to our figures up here. The Dolphins have the football at the 20-yard line with 38 seconds to go, leading by a score of 24-23, kicking Zonka. The splitbacks behind Morrell. He just falls on the ball right at the line of scrimmage, and they're going to run the clock out. There's a Buffalo man down on the field. Now, whether this is a legitimate injury or not, as Jerry Patton, a defensive tackle way back behind the line of scrimmage, and a timeout is going to be given to Buffalo. Bob Kuchenberg. What about Kuchenberg? Kuchenberg is the alleged man who creamed Patton. Apparently, it is a legitimate injury.
Rick, we used to take turns when I was playing. Who is the man that's supposed to be hurt this week? And it looks like this week it's Patton's turn.
Well, Patton sure got up in a hurry, and they're helping him off. Our spotter, Al Book, said that Kuchenberg creamed him. But they get him up and get him out of there in a hurry. We'll have all the scores for our Miami listeners on the post-game scoreboard show following the Rolling Home program. 20 seconds. Clock is stopped on the injury. Patton is out of there. And in to replace him has come Frank Cornish. With 20 seconds to go, the Dolphins have the ball at our 20-yard line with a second down and 10, leading by 1 point, 24-23. This is a good Buffalo team, but we gave them a lot of breaks on a silver platter in that first half. And they will be a factor. Certainly they have nothing to be ashamed of with the offensive performance of their team in the second half under Mike Tolliver's direction. Jim Kick and Larry Zonka are the splitbacks. Morrow brings his ball club out. His time is in, ready to go with 20 seconds left to play at the 20-yard line. Morrow just falls on the football. At the snap, 16 seconds, 15 seconds, 14 seconds. Buffalo was charged with a timeout on that injury, and they do not have any timeouts left. 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. The Dolphins have won this ball game, remain the only unbeaten team in football, are the hair on their chinny chin chins, 24-23 as the gun sounds. The final score, our Dolphins 24, Buffalo 23.